So for this art journal page spread, I'm going to be working in my small Dylusions art journal, and I'm going to start off by adding in some washi tape and some strips of book text, and I'm just going to glue them down with matte medium. Then I'm just going to put a big pile on my desk just there. So I'm going to grab a brush, a clean brush, should have had one to hand to start off with. First of all, let's just add some of this washi tape down. I'm just going to randomly stick this around the page. Let's put some up there to start off with. No real plan as to where this is going to go. I just want to have some of this in the background. So let's make sure it's the right way up. Not that it matters. Creating a kind of frame, but without creating a frame, if you know what I mean. So I've got 2 or 3 different types, but they all have one thing in common. They're all just plain black and white. This is because I'm going to be adding colour over the top of these. A piece there, and one more can go up there. And then, excuse me, I've found the end of this lot. This is the problem with washi tape. You think you've got the end, as in life. Okay, so get off. Stuck to me feet. No, get off. Attacked by washi tape. Okay, so we have some nice kind of brick pattern going on here as well. So we'll have some of that, some of that. We'll also have some of that up here, and a bit more down there. Some of that. I know the brick patterns are going in the wrong direction, but that don't matter. So this is the beauty of washi tape. Get some great results. Not really having to do a lot. Okay, and that'll do for the washi tape. Just clear those bits out of the way. That bit's gone over the top, so I'll just tear that off. And then I'm going to add in some book text. So this is just going to randomly go in the background. Just tear that off a little bit. That little piece of washi tape is determined to get stuck in there, isn't it? Go on, off with you, creature. And another bit. Which we'll have over here. I'm going to go all over the page, and then another strip. So this is one of those art journal pages that I kind of know where I want to go with it. Kind of got an idea in my mind as to what I kind of want to achieve, but there's room for manoeuvrability and room for spontaneity as well. Get that stuck down. I've got a few little smaller bits I can add just down here, and maybe a little bit more up here. What else have we got? Another little bit there. So I'm going to go over the majority of the page, because that's also going to seal down that washi tape and make sure that when we heat the page, hopefully it won't curl up or lift itself up from the page. He says, which may be wishful thinking, but we all live in hope. Okay, that'll do. Let's dump that in some water and get this dried off. Okay, so the next step is I want to start building up my background layers. Now I have two very inexpensive paints here. I have a periwinkle blue and I have kind of like a turquoisey blue, almost a tealy blue or a tealy green if you like. But I've also got some white gesso. Forgive me if I'm a little bit out of breath. I've just had to run downstairs to get another packet of baby wipes because I run out. So I've got white, I have my periwinkle blue, which I don't think there's much left in there, so let's just drop some of that blue around the page, and then I have the white gesso, which is going to lighten it up as I paint the page. So I'm going to go all the way over. You can see that you've got bits of that white showing through it. Now I need to get a little bit of that paint without contaminating my gesso. See, it's probably runny enough just to actually pour some on. There we go, that should do it. I'm going to cover the entire of the page. That lovely, lovely blue colour, nice wintry blue. And that sounds like Ian, just come home. And then I'm just going to grab that baby wipe and then just give it a pounce over. First layer. So actually it's wiped off just a little bit too much of the paint that I actually wanted. I wanted it a little bit darker than that, so I'm just going to put some more of that periwinkle down and then just go back over the page You'll still be able to see the washi tape and everything underneath, but it'll just knock it back a bit more to what I actually wanted. Just a little bit more. Mr. Bentley's running around like a mad one. Of course, when this dries, it will go a little bit more see-through. It's not totally opaque. There we go. So let's just give that a blast with the gun. As you can see, the page is now completely dry, and you can see that washi tape and the book text just coming in from the background, so that's just a nice kind of balance. But what I want to do is add in a little bit more darkness, a little bit of more texture into the background. So to do that, I'm going to use the Concerto stencil by Tim Holtz and Stampers Anonymous, and I'm going to add in some darker kind of masked out music notes using that Lagoon paint that I showed you earlier. So I'm going to put a little dollop onto my mat, not a lot, and then just take one of those cosmetic sponges, just load it up, and then we can just build up a little bit of that music pattern just into the background. Just do it quite subtly. So start to build it through. And some of this is going to be covered up when I add my main focal point anyway, so it's not too critical that we get it perfect. It's just adding in a little bit more interest into that background. A little bit more paint. A bit more up at the top over here. Bring that pattern into the background. Like I said, it's not too critical that it's perfect, just that we have a kind of little bit of a representation, a bit more darkness and depth of colour in there. I think maybe just a tad of this side. Just down there, peeking in from the side, and I think that's going to be enough for that. So I'll put that stencil to one side, and then I shall grab a baby wipe. You can open the packet and just clean that little bit of paint off. Of course, waste not, want not. We'll just rub that onto a different page at the back. And then let's just give that a blast and get it dry. Paint's all dry, so I'm going to bring out some Dina Wakley white. Just add that onto my mat, like so. And then I'm going to grab another cosmetic sponge, load that up, and this time I've got the Tim Holtz chevron stencil. So I'm now going to overlay some of those lovely chevron-y kind of arrows into the page. Like so. And I think we'll go about here as well. Some that nice paint in there. Like that, and then just a little bit more down here at the bottom. Like so. And I think maybe just a tiny little bit more up at the top, up here. And I think we can safely say that I'm happy with that. Okay, so once again, let's get it all dry. So before I add anything else onto the page, as in focal point wise, I want to add some white circles. Now rather than stencil, I'm going to use bubble wrap. So I'm just going to, I've got a small piece of bubble wrap there, and I've still got my Dina Wakley. So I'm just going to put a splodge there, and I've got a brush and my piece of bubble wrap, and I'm just going to, you can see that, paint the bubble wrap, and then I'm going to lay that down and peel that off. Some over this side. And a bit more. A wee bit more. There. And I think I'm going to have another piece there. And then finally I'm going to have some just coming off the page there on the right. Yeah, happy with that. So again, just drop my brush into some water, grab that baby wipe, just give it a quick clean, not perfect, and then let's get that dried. Everything's now nice and dry, and as you can see, it's quite a cold page with all those blues and the whites on there, which is fine for winter, but I want to just warm it up a little bit by adding in some little warmer tone detail. Now, I've got this star stencil from Indigo Blue, so I'm going to introduce some stars up here and across the top here, but I'm going to use the Dina Wakley Media Ruby paint. So I'm just going to add a small amount onto my craft mat here. Just take that lump off there. That should do. And then I have just a piece of sponge, and I'm just going to place that stencil down over that page there, and I'm just going to quickly run through it. Not too heavy. Just put a few stars over there on that side, and I'm going to do the same over at this side too. So just over in this general kind of area, just to add a little bit of warmth into the page. That'll do. Not going to add any more. So I'll leave that stencil there, and then I'll have a quick tidy up. I'll get this dried off, and I'll be right back. So again, those stars are now nice and dry. So the next, I'm going to stick down 3 of my little mini mic characters. So these are the PNG digi download versions, not ones that I've stamped. These are ones I've printed off on my laser printer this time. So this is my mono laser printer, and I'm going to stick these down onto the page just using the Ranger Collage glue stick, but you can use any kind of glue that you want to. So first of all, let's just stick him down. Obviously I've printed them out and then just cut them out with a little bit of a white border all the way around. So let's just move that page over there a little bit, and then I can get over here and start adding the glue. So first one over here, down there, looking inwards. And then the next one in his Christmas birthday suit. And go there. And finally we can stick him down with his little bow tie. Over on this side, and I'll do it so it's about in line with that chevron pattern down there. I'm going to give those a few seconds just to dry, and then I'm going to bring out some Copic markers, and we're going to have a little bit of a colouring session. My little mini mics are completely stuck down now, so I have a selection of Copic or Copic markers here, different styles. Now, one of the things I don't like watching is watching somebody sit and colour in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, I find it incredibly boring watching somebody colour, particularly if they're better than I am. But hey ho. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to colour these, and I'm going to put it on fast forward, and I'll put some music on so you can just watch me colouring in. Okay, so I could just take a darker blue and just go around them just to blend them into the page a little bit more, but to be honest I don't really think it needs it, so I'm quite happy with the way they're sitting there. So I'm just going to get rid of those Copic markers, and then the next step, I have some gold mirror board, or mirrorboard as we call it here in the UK. So what I'm going to do is I've cut out quickly a template of a crown. So I'm going to grab my scissors because I want to create 3 little crowns for my characters. So I'm going to cut 3 shapes or 3 squares out of the memory board. Now this art journal page was inspired by an image of a canvas, I think it was, that I saw on Pinterest. Now originally the 3 characters were done using I think they were Stampatique stamps by, is it Daniel Durante or Torrente? They're a little bit more kind of like zombie looking than these, but I kind of like my mini mics because I'm kind of biased. But that's just me all over, isn't it? I like my mini mics because they're mine. So that's 1 of the crowns. Like so. Maybe a bit too big. Let's just cut him down a little bit there. How's that? Right, I'm going to do the same thing for these 2 and I'll be right back. Okay, so there are my 3 crowns all nicely cut out. So I'm going to put my scissors away to stop myself from stabbing myself in the hand. And again, I'm just going to glue those down using this collage glue stick. Just put a little bit of glue on each. Hopefully I won't get any on the mirror on the front, but knowing my luck I will do. Just have to be careful just to rub it off. Make sure we maintain that nice shimmer. So again, I don't suppose it matters really what glue you use for these. One more. There we go. Just wet my finger just to remove any excess of glue. It should just wipe straight off. There we go. Stick down. Okay, I'm going to make sure these are completely stuck down and then I'll be right back. So the crowns are now stuck down. I've printed off on my computer and my LaserJet printer my little saying, which is "We Three Kings." I've used a decorative font, just one of the free ones that are all over the internet. So all you have to do is do a little bit of a search and find. So I've printed off the 3 words, "We Three Kings," which is absolutely perfect. And while I was cutting them out, I just thought, oh, I wonder what would happen if I just coloured them in with a little bit of that blue Copic. Would it just help to blend them into the background a little bit? Not being perfect and exact, leaving a little bit of that white showing, because we have got some white in the background, don't forget. So I think that works rather well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick these down onto the page, and I'm just going to use the Tombow Mono Aqua, not because there's any other reason why it's any different to the Collage glue stick. It's just I just dropped that on the floor and this was still on the desk, so I'm just being lazy, if I'm being honest. Okay. There we go, so that one's down. But it doesn't matter what glue you use, as I keep saying. No. They're all the same, pretty much. Pretty much. Here we go. Cool. And of course, if any of it squirts out, it doesn't matter because it just rubs off. Completely rubs off. Excellent. Okay, almost done. Let that dry and then I'll be right back. Okay, so everything's now stuck down. I've gone through my washi tape drawer. I'm just going to pull out a little bit of washi tape. I'm just going to put a little bit across the bottom of those crowns there. For no other reason, I think they just want, what's the word I'm looking for? Tarting up a little bit. There you go. For no other reason at all. I just think they're a bit plain. But I also think we need to bring in a little bit of that red that we've got at the top up here, and also now in that band of washi tape, just to balance it out a little bit at the bottom. So I think I'm going to use it as a bit of grounding for the characters. Just connect those two together. And one small piece there. Just a little bit of grounding. And then same thing across there. And another piece just there to kind of balance it out. Okay, not done yet, not done completely. So I'm going to now grab a light opaque pen, one of the Signo ones, and I'm now just going to add a little bit of white grounding, and do the same thing over here. just adds a little bit more balance to it, I think. Just helps it just to blend in a little bit, just adds a certain something. Well, in my opinion it does anyway. And then go around the crown. Just adds a little bit extra detail. Can't really see it up there because you've got quite a lot of the white from the bubble wrap. Just add a little bit more dimension and detail. Down that side. Come on, pen. That's it. And I think one last thing needs to be done, and then I'm going to call this page complete. So, more white paint. We're going to add some splatters, of course, because we need to make sure that we've got a little bit of falling snow. So I'll just grab a little paintbrush, just mix a little bit of water in with it. I'm not going to go too mad. And then just add a few splattery bits. Doesn't have to be a lot. It's literally just a suggestion. There we go. Let's just take those off. Put them away. And then let's get that dried. So the splatters are now dry and just blended into that background. Very, very subtle. So almost to the point where actually they disappear because of that texture and all the patterning that you've got in the background anyway. So it just adds a little bit of extra dimension, but it's not obtrusive. So all I need to do now is just to finish off by signing and dating. And why have I put the 11th? It's not the 11th today, is it? Is it the 7th? I can't remember. I'm getting old. Anyway, that is that page, and I think I'm done.